welcome and congratulations. So, first of all, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. And Mataji must be attending to town. For inviting us in your home for this very auspicious occasion. To bring Srimad Bhagavatam into one's home, as we've been saying for the last several weeks. How many of you have Srimad Bhagavatam in your home? Most of you. I don't know what good fortune we all have, but we can only ascribe that great fortune to the benedictions that Srila Prabhupada bestowed upon the whole world through his tireless efforts to spread this message. It says in our Shastra that a devotee has only one pain. On the one hand, it means the devotee, in the midst of this material turbulent world, is always in bliss. They're always happy. How many of us would like to be always happy and full of peace? We would probably even take 50%, no? If somebody gave us a bargain of 50%, we would probably accept. But through spiritual life, it is the means to find real happiness, real peace. But the devotee has one dukkha, one pain. And what is that? It says, para dukkha dukhi. That for those who are suffering in separation of this understanding how to find real happiness through connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, that devotee feels pain, seeing somebody else suffering in separation. Though they may be nicely situated and happily situated in spiritual life, through this unending mood of compassion, the devotee feels pain. And it feels inspired from that pain to do something about it. And Srila Prabhupada is the epitome of this para dukkha dukhi. Because he, at a very advanced age, was situated in the holy dham of Vrindavan. Shri Vrindavan Dham is the most magical place in the universe. It is explained in the Shri Upadeshamrita that Shri Vrindavan Dham here in this material planet is actually more advanced, higher than Vaikuntha Lok. And that is not a matter of opinion or sentiment, but it is a matter of fact proven by the one piece of evidence that Lord Krishna himself came and traversed all the forests of Vrindavan with his 2 feet. We were discussing a little bit yesterday in the pastime of Gopashtami. And that he has not done even in Vaikuntha Lok. In Vaikuntha Lok he is present through his Lord Narayan form, but Lord Krishna has never entered. So, our Shastra explains that Shri Vrindavan Dham is the elevated place of perfection. And Srila Prabhupada was situated there, in the epicenter of this Vrindavan Dham at Radha Damodar temple, enjoying the spiritual life. But he left all of that. And he struggled very hard, at least from our perception. Why? To leave us with a gift. We're approaching the gift-giving season. But we know those gifts we get typically, that we start acquiring during the Black Friday shopping time, and then we might use how long that gift actually gives us some value. Very short duration. But Srila Prabhupada gave us the eternal gift. And what is that gift? It is the gift of knowledge. Because by knowledge, by transcendental knowledge, we can actually find real solutions to the things that give us difficulty in life. And amongst his many offerings to us, he tired laboriously to present the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is presented here. It is 18 volumes of Vedic literature, 18,000 verses, 12 cantos, covering the essence of all Vedic knowledge. If we take the cream of the cream, that cream of all Vedic knowledge, that is contained within Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada, I asked last time, when we see all these books, we have one anxiety. What is that anxiety? How I'll read it, right? How I'll read it all. Well, imagine what kind of effort it took for one person to write it. How much effort it took to write the Srimad Bhagavatam. But that was Srila Prabhupada's Paradukha Dukhi, fueled by this compassion, knowing that this is the prime benediction of humanity, that it can give us the keys to all happiness. That he went through so much effort to translate the Srimad Bhagavatam so that we could understand it. So we're very indebted to Srila Prabhupada for presenting us Srimad Bhagavatam. And we've been discussing that, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the most valuable thing in the universe. And again, we want evidence of that, right? We want fact. How we can claim it's the most valuable. Well, this Srimad Bhagavatam, when one studies Srimad Bhagavatam, one can find complete satisfaction of all the troublesome things in the heart. So, how much you would pay for something on Amazon that would give you permanent freedom of all troublesome things in the heart? What price you would put on it? You would pay anything. Anything. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the benediction is given that one who takes to the study of Srimad Bhagavatam will become free of all troublesome things in the heart. That is the benediction of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why there's actually nothing more valuable that exists, because nothing else can give us that opportunity. So, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? So Srila Vyasadeva, as we know, compiled in writing all of the different Vedas. Then he compiled the Upanishads, the Purans, and so many other Vedic literatures. And in the completion of all of his transcription, he was feeling a void, an emptiness in his heart. Despite accomplishing so much, there was a void. And why was he feeling this void? He didn't know, and so he did what all intelligent people do. When we have confusion in life, we should approach the bona fide Guru, who can guide us in the process of devotional service. So, he went to his Guru, Narada Muni. And Narada Muni instructed him. Narada Muni instructed him that there is a reason why you are feeling a void in your heart. That is because you have not spoken directly about Lord Shri Krishna. You have not commented directly on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And until one does so, one will not find this complete happiness in the heart. So this is the mood that Srila Vyasadeva was in. So then he decided that he was going to compile the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what actually Srimad Bhagavatam is, it is the commentary on the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta Sutras are the short form aphorisms that contain the essence of of our Vedic knowledge. And so Srila Vyasadeva, through these 12 cantos, is giving the essence of all knowledge. And one who studies Srimad Bhagavatam with rapt attention will achieve true perfection in life. Because this is not a theoretical, philosophical book of knowledge. It is a practical application of how, in our specific circumstance in life, we may be able to apply this Krishna conscious process to find real peace and happiness. And the instructions in Srimad Bhagavatam they're astounding. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you start to see many things that are coming out today through science and other literatures that was already spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll give just a few examples, just to give us some faith in how powerful the Srimad Bhagavatam is. For example, in the world history, the great scholars and scientists have been mapping the world. And they've been talking about how many continents there are. And prior to Christopher Columbus sailing west, they had identified 4 continents. That was just 500 years ago. Then 2 more came, North and South America, 6. And it was not until the early 1900s that they discovered the 7th continent, which is Antarctica. So today we know there are 7 continents, no? Anybody denies that? In Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, starting in the 1st canto, in the 4th canto, and in many other places, it explains that our great kings from Bharatvarsha, they were the rulers of Shaptadvip. And they said that they were the rulers of the whole world. And they would call it Shaptadvip. What does Shapta mean? Dvip? This was given millions of years ago. 7 continents. Until Christopher Columbus sailed west, they were scared that they thought the earth was flat. Right? But you ask any even illiterate farmer or any person in India, what do you call it? They say, Bhugol. Well, everybody knew. Why? Because that's what's explained in our Shastra. The whole creation of the universe. How it emanated. What element came first, then second, third, how things were created. All of this is given. This Big Bang theories. Those are theories. What does theory mean? It's a guess. It's a plausible idea. That's what a theory means. A fact is an indisputable fact. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have indisputable facts. If you read the 3rd canto, in the conversation between Kapil Muni and his mother Devahuti, you see there's one chapter that speaks about the growth of a baby in the womb of a mother. Extraordinary precision is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, verse by verse. What happens in week 1, what happens week 5, what happens here, all the stages through birth. It is given. And if you show it to any OBGYN, they are astounded. Because most of this knowledge is only recently understood through the latest imaging technology, where they can observe what is happening inside through the sonograms and ultrasounds and x-rays. Srimad Bhagavatam has been giving these facts forever. So many other predictions are given there. It talks about atomic time theory. My only point in this, these are actually the trivial pieces of Srimad Bhagavatam. But what it does, to our mundane minds, it gives us some faith that this is actually the best technology, the most perfect set of information to apply into our day-to-day life. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it is really, as we say, Grantha Raj. It is the king of all books. It is truly the greatest blessing. So Prabhuji, congratulations to you and your wife for having the great fortune to bring Srimad Bhagavatam into your home. It's no ordinary thing. You are bringing the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself into your home. And we should protect and cherish this asset. It is our greatest wealth. And so how to best protect this Srimad Bhagavatam? Anybody knows?
Reading every day.
They have these nice plastic covers. This is good protection. We should rip it open and impregnate it into the heart by reading. That is how we will protect Srimad Bhagavatam. By having it enter into the heart. So don't be fooled by this plastic covering. This is actually a disturbance to real protection of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is just for UPS handling, so it doesn't get disturbed. But we should read Srimad Bhagavatam and bring it into our heart. That is the best way to worship Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is worthy of our worship. Let me read one verse. This is a very famous verse. This is from 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, text number 17. Shinvata Sokata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Riddayanta Sohibbadrani Vidonoti Surt Satam. Translation: Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are non-different from Him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as the Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Shishtakshara declares that chanting the holy names of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord, and that He has endowed in them with innumerable names the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind that He can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But, unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's names and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to His devotees. When He sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and thus he has become eager to hear about Him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to Him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into His kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. One cannot enter the kingdom of Godhead unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. The material sins are product of our desires to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Women and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotees making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But one who is helped by the Lord himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. I'll stop there. So I'll read the verse again. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So here we get an indication. So in the opening verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn that Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. In the 3rd chapter we see in the listing of all the incarnations, Shukadeva Goswami tells us, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that he is the source of all incarnations. In Bhagavad Gita he tells us, Aham Bija Padaha Pita. He is our seed-giving father. He tells us, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That we are all his fragmental parts. It means that there is only ultimately one source of all happiness for us. And that is reuniting with our Supreme Father. Being separated from Lord Shri Krishna leaves us in a very precarious position. And this separation has been going on for us, at least for millions of lifetimes. But it is by the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam, by the potency of the mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada, that we have this rarest of rare opportunity to reconnect back with our Supreme Father. And actually only one real qualification exists required. To be completely free of all that is troublesome and to find eternal peace and happiness. What is that one qualification? Desire. How strong is our desire? Even in purport, Srila Prabhupada tells us, who has a stronger desire for us to go back home to Godhead? Krishna. Krishna is aching in separation from all of us. He is longing to be reunited with all of us. But we, being illusioned by the illusory energy of this world, are more attracted to tomorrow's cricket match. There's a cricket match tomorrow? Yes. If we had just a fraction of attraction to that cricket match, just a fraction, we had that much commitment and dedication, rising at 3:30 to watch tomorrow, no problem. Coming Mangal Arti for Krishna, I work, office, pots and pans to wash, laundry, car needs oil change, this, that. Oh, whole list will come, bigger than Srimad Bhagavatam. All reasons will come. But cricket match, no problem. Don't even need to set alarm. You'll just wake up. So this is what we have to cleanse this desire. Because I can assure you one thing. We are attracted to things in the material world. Whether it's a cricket match, whether it's some movie, whether it's some this, that. Because we want some enjoyment, some attractiveness, right? So we all are attracted to things that have some attractive potency there. Something that gives us pleasure. Right? But we should understand one thing. Lord Brahma tells us that Krishna is Anadir Adir Govinda. He is the source of everything. What is not included in everything? Trick question. Nothing. Everything is in everything. So whatever pleasure, whatever happiness we get from a cricket match, that pleasure ingredient, it comes from Krishna. So whatever pleasure we may get from that, you can then imagine how much pleasure we'll actually get from the source of all pleasure, the source of all happiness. But you know that in example of cricket, some people are really, really attached. And if we ask the neighbors, will they be attached? Maybe, maybe not. Because cricket is not all attractive. But Krishna is all attractive. Meaning, each and every one of us, we have an intrinsic, instinctual, deep connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the most attractive feature for each and every one of us. But we might wonder, wait a minute. If that's the case, why am I more attracted to watching this match tomorrow than I am going for Mangal Arti? If we honestly say, if everybody closes their eyes and says, raise your hand if you'd rather watch cricket than go to Mangal Arti. I won't ask you to do it, but if we did, we'd kind of know. So what's happened? If Krishna is the all attractive, the source of all attractive rasa, why I have this attraction to these material things? Because I'll tell you, plain and simple, all of our material attachments, all of those material, they always end in one way. Ultimately, in suffering, misery. That is the nature of the material world. They may give some pleasure, but ultimately it will end in misery. That is a fact. We've experienced it ourselves. So why am I gravitated this way when I should be gravitated here? It is due to the impurities in the heart. I cannot see what is actually attractive. Just like if I put on these glasses and they are very dirty. If I put them on, I cannot see anything because the lenses are dirty. But if I cleanse the lenses, then I can actually see. So it's due to the impure heart that our heart is now attached to these things that ultimately give us no utility, no real value in life. Maybe some moments of some pleasure, some enjoyment, some social interactions, but at the end, it is a few fleeting moments. So how to become attached to that which is really attractive, that is the real happiness? We have to cleanse the heart. And how to cleanse the heart? We get some Clorox wipes and wipe on them. That won't work. We have to cleanse the heart through Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Avamahadavagnya Nivapanam, Shreya Kaira Vachandika Pitaranam, Vidya Vadu Jivanam. That this chanting of the holy names, it is the singular process to bring perfection to life. As Srila Prabhupada explained in his purport, that this chanting is so powerful. Why? Nija Sarva Shaktis. That Krishna has put Nija, all of his Shakti, into these names. That means when we speak on Krishna, Krishna is personally present. How powerful is something that the word is equivalent to the item? Like I said, if I chant water, 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 will my thirst be quenched? No. Because the word water and the substance water are different. But when I chant Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When I chant that, I am directly interacting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How liberal Krishna is. If you want to directly associate with the president of the country, the king of a nation, who's the best cricket player? I don't even know. Whoever it is. If we want to can we associate with them? Personally? No. But Krishna is so liberal, so loving. He says just by chanting, how much qualification does it take for us to chant the holy names? Do we need to have some, high intelligence, big income, big society status? Do we need anything?
No.
No. Just desire. Just desire. With desire alone, Krishna is availing himself to us. This is the love the Supreme Lord has for us. But, again, we are clouded by all these other attachments. So what to do? Krishna tells us, just start desiring. Just start chanting. Just start reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And Paramatma sitting in our heart, the Chaitya Guru, will arrange for us to rapidly go back home, back to Godhead. And there, you will enjoy cricket with Krishna in unlimited form. You don't think cricket exists in Goloka Vrindavan? Let us understand one thing very clearly. Nothing exists in the material world that doesn't exist in its pure form in the spiritual world. Why? Because this whole material world is a reflection. If I have a mirror and I look in the reflection, can I see anything in the reflection that doesn't exist on my face? No. It's a reflection. So this whole material world, Krishna explains in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is a reflection. It's a perverted reflection. So all the things that we're trying to get enjoyment from in this material world, through sports and entertainment and other activities, that activity actually exists in the spiritual world in its pure form, in which the happiness is many, many, many times incalculably more than what we get from this. So we should have full faith that if I'm enjoying some cricket here today, let me desire to enjoy that rasa with Krishna in the spiritual world. And of course, as the devotee matures in consciousness, they find that actually their desire transposes, that their desire for even their own happiness subsides to the desire for Krishna's happiness. But that is for another topic. So this is the opportunity. So, successful study of Srimad Bhagavatam, successful absorption of Srimad Bhagavatam should result in one thing. It should result in more enthusiastic, better quality chanting. Our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, if it enthuses our chanting of the holy names, we are getting to the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when we study the pastimes of Krishna, when we study the pastimes of the great, great kings, of the great, great devotees, it should fuel this desire in the heart. And we know when the desire in the heart ignites, Krishna will answer that desire. And what is the response from us? More enthusiastic chanting of the holy names. That will continue to cleanse the heart And that will bring one closer and closer to the Supreme Lord. Because in the Shikshashtakam prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Durdevam. We have one great misfortune. What is our greatest misfortune? We might think, not enough money, not enough sleep, not enough gulab jamuns, not enough cricket wins, not enough this, What is our actual misfortune? We only have one misfortune. I don't have taste for chanting of the holy names. That is our real misfortune. But by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and studying Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading Srila Prabhupada's purports, we can solve that misfortune and find real happiness in life and make real success in life. So this is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. I was going to discuss a little bit about, since it's month of Kartik, the killing of Aristasura and Radha. We have some time, or it's a little bit? Yes, 8 o'clock? Maybe 15 minutes, it's okay? You want to hear we'll end with one pastime, since we started with some heavy topics. So, in 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful narration of Krishna's very sweet pastimes. And Krishna performs his pastimes to attract all of us. When we study these pastimes and when we hear them, we can begin to relate with Krishna. Because God is not some amorphous, abstract person. He is a person that has so many personalities and features that we can relate to in different moods. They are called rasas. And so, by reading this 10th canto, we get to understand what is Krishna like. How do his devotees engage with him? What kind of happiness they find? What is their relationship? And in that way, we can become inspired to follow. And that is why Srila Prabhupada, before he even completed the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, he wrote Krishna book. Just in case, if he did not finish Srimad Bhagavatam, he wanted to make sure that we had some glimpse into these activities so that we may be inspired to go back to where we came from, to reconnect with our eternal Father. So one such pastime is the slaying of Aristasura demon. I know we don't often think of slaying a demon or slaying something as something nice, but actually this is one of Krishna's sweet pastimes. Because Krishna, everything Krishna does is sweet. It's like a sugar cube. Whether you taste it from this side, this side, this side, it's sweet from all sides. All of Krishna's activities are absolute. They're all sweet. Including the slaying of demons. Actually, the slaying of the demons, they represent the different anarthas within our heart. So when we hear the different anarthas like pride, envy, lust, anger, greed, and many other varieties, they dissipate in the heart. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us commentary on each demon, what the specific anartha that's removed like that. So Aristasura was a giant bull demon who came to Vrindavan. This is one of the last demons to come. Kamsa is about to finish his demon. His storehouse of demons is finishing. Krishna was just toying with all of these from childhood, from Putana through Narvata, Shakatasura, all these demons. And now Aristasura has come towards the end of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. And it said that he came in the evening time. And this giant bull demon, how giant? The humps of the bull were peeking through the clouds. And the devatas were looking and thinking, oh, 2 new mountains have appeared in Vraj. We see Govardhan, but now we see 2 new mountains. Giant bull is coming. And he is very ferocious. And he is huffing and puffing. And all the animals are becoming very fearful. The pregnant cows are at risk of miscarriages. And this is creating a very anxious situation in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And so when the residents of Vrindavan have any kind of fear, any kind of uneasiness, what do? They go to Krishna. Krishna is our ever well-wisher. He is our ever savior. He is our protector. He tells us in Bhagavad Gita, Surdam Sarva Bhutanam. He says, He is our ever protector. If one knows that, Shantin, then one can find real peace. So the residents of Vrindavan, they also found their peace in the shelter of Krishna. So they went to Krishna and said, do something. This demon is wreaking havoc. And Krishna sees Aristasura over there, and he's just laughing. And when someone is angry, and you don't show them some fear or anything, and you treat them with some comic, they get more angry. And so Aristasura starts to dig his feet. And Mother Bhumi is saying, Aristasura is digging up my skin, is creating big holes. And he is huffing and puffing. His tail is swirling in the air. And what Krishna does? He puts his hand on the shoulder of his friend and just laughs. And so now Aristasura becomes even more angry. And so he points his hoods down, his horns there, and he starts charging at Krishna. Krishna does whatever he's... Bring it on. Krishna was just playing. One arm on the shoulder of his friend. And Aristasura is coming at great speed. You can imagine, giant demon. And as he comes, because he is leaning down with his horns, Krishna just grabs his horns and throws them away. Now Aristasura becomes angry. Who this boy is, thinks he can play with me like this. So he regains his composure, regains his energy, digs his feet again and charges again. And this time Krishna again takes his horns, rips it off and thrashes him, and Aristasura is dead. Gone. This is no big deal. Krishna has destroyed so many demons. There's one more demon. Right? So Krishna very playfully destroys Aristasura, and this is taking place right near Govardhan, right at the top part of Govardhan. And so he's thinking, okay, everything is good, evening is coming, and he comes upon Srimati Radharani and all the gopis. And he is desiring that we should do some dance pastime here. So he goes to approach Srimati Radharani and the gopis, and they say, shh, get away, go away. And Krishna, what? How you can rebuke me? I am the all-attractive Krishna. What is going on? She says, no, you have become contaminated with sins. What sins I could have done? You have killed the bull. In our Vedic culture, we talked about Gopashtami last night. We'll talk about Gopashtami tomorrow. This cow protection is the essential principle of our society. We cannot have success in society without protection of cows and brahmanas. And that is why we see such disaster situations today in the world. Because where do we see cow protection and protection of brahmanas proliferated? So, Srimati Radharani tells, you have killed a bull. And Krishna says, it's not a bull, it's a demon. Doesn't matter, it has the form of a bull, you must purify. So Krishna says, okay, fine, how do I purify? This Krishna is the all-purifying Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's just playing around. So Srimati Radharani is thinking, how do I make this real challenge for Krishna? Make it real complicated and difficult. She says, you must bathe in all the holy rivers. Krishna says, that's it? You want me to bathe in the holy rivers? No problem. So he sticks his heel in the ground and he makes a giant giant hole in the ground. 1 foot. And she says, that's cute, but what are you going to do now? How are you going to fill the waters? No problem. He calls. And all the personalities of all the different rivers come with folded hands. Beautiful, effulgent personalities are there. And Krishna sees Srimati Radharani. She has some doubt. Who are these people? So he says, okay, announce. He says, oh, I am River Ganga, and goes into the Kund. I am River Saraswati, Godavari, Narmada, like this. All the holy rivers, they came and they filled this hole and with all the waters of the holy places. And then Krishna took his bath and he became purified, so-called, according to the rules that Srimati Radharani had sent out for him. So he comes out and says, okay, I am now pure. So Srimati Radharani says, okay, now we may engage. But Krishna then says, no, you have become contaminated. And he says, what? What have I done? Says, well, you have taken the side of a demon. And so now you have become contaminated. So you must purify. You must now also bathe in all the holy rivers. So Krishna says, okay, you can take bath in this Kund and purify yourself. And Srimati Radharani, I'll not go in that Kund. All your sins have contaminated this river, this pond. I'm not going in there. No way. I won't touch. And Krishna says, then what are you going to do? I'll make my own Kund. So right next to this Kund, she sees a small hoof print that was created by Aristasura. So with that, she engaged all of her cowherd damsels, the gopis. And they took off their bangles and they started with their bangles digging. And in very short time, less than 1 hour, huge hole was there. And now Krishna says, what are you going to do? Why don't you fill the Kund with my water? And she says, no, your water is contaminated. We'll bring water from Manasi Ganga. So once Nanda Baba wanted to go to take bath in the Ganges. Krishna, being young boy, he thought, if father goes away, I'll not see my father for a few days. I don't want him to go. So what did he do? He meditated and brought Ganges to Vrindavan. So at the base of Govardhan, you may have gone, there is Manasi Ganga. There is none different than the river Ganges. So the gopis thought, okay, we'll form a long line. So from current day, this Kund to Manasi Ganga is probably 4 or 5 kilometers. It's a good distance. But Srimati Radharani has hundreds of millions of damsels. So they formed a line and they were passing pots and filling the Kund. But after a few hours had passed, great effort, hardly like this much water was perceptible in this giant Kund. And Krishna was feeling what to do. He knows if he speaks, Srimati Radharani will listen. So one of the holy rivers goes and composes very beautiful prayers to Srimati Radharani, glorifying her as the epitome of devotional service, the perfection of mood of bhakti. Srimati Radharani is the personification of pure devotional service of Krishna Prema. So in this way, glorifying. And Srimati Radharani was pleased with these prayers and said, and he said that I have one pain in my heart. And so she asked, okay, how can I satisfy your pain in your heart? And he said, please allow my waters to fill your Kund also. He was troubled seeing Srimati Radharani struggling so much. So Srimati Radharani was now pleased by the prayers of a devotee, allowed the waters from Krishna's Kund to flow into her Kund. Actually, still to this day, there was a small connector between the two Kunds. When they drain for cleaning, you can see this connection. So one hole broke through the wall and filled her Kund. Srimati Radharani and all the devotees engaged in taking bath there. And at that point, Krishna went into ecstasy. And he declared that this Radha Kund, the Kund that was made by Srimati Radharani, it is the most glorious place. And he said that this Kund is as dear to me as Srimati Radharani herself. Now, we know Krishna has no other attraction. The attraction between Krishna and Srimati Radharani is, there is no comparison. She is the personification of his pleasure potency. And Krishna bestowed this great benediction on this Radha Kund. So Srila Rupa Goswami comments that I said that Sri Vrindavan Dham is the superior place to even Vaikuntha. Why? What was the fact?
Krishna himself appeared.
Because not only appeared, but his footprints. He stepped foot in Vrindavan. He never stepped foot in Vaikuntha alone. So because of that, it is. And of all of the area of Mathura, of Raj, the holiest of all places is Govardhan. Because there Krishna performed his most sweetest, intimate pastimes. And of all the place of Govardhan, what is the most powerful place? It is Radha Kund. Radha Kund, it is overflowing with love of Krishna. So if we are overflowing with love for cricket, we should shed that and go to Radha Kund and offer our obeisances, sprinkle some water on our head, and this love for the all-loving Supreme Personality of Godhead is guaranteed to manifest in our heart. This is the potency of Radha Kund. Krishna says, every day I will come and take bath in your Kund, Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani says, every day I will take bath in your Kund. And still to this day, every day, Radha and Krishna come and take bath in Sham Kund, Radha Kund. It is the epicenter, the most potent place to take to devotional service. And so we should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, of Srila Prabhupada, of Guru Parampara, and put the desire in our heart that someday we can go very soon and take some darshan of Radha Kund and invoke this real love, pure love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because if we do, then you will find real, permanent, eternal happiness. Many, many million times more than when India wins tomorrow. So please take to the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether you have now been blessed with the Srimad Bhagavatam, protect it by bringing it into your heart, reading it every day. And those of you who do not have Srimad Bhagavatam, I beg you, please take it, bring it home. It is the greatest thing you can bring into your home. We'll come and personally drop it off. If you desire, even tonight. But you have to desire in your heart. And Krishna, through Paramatma, will answer that desire. And it is the best that you can do. So please consider strongly doing it. Those of you who have Srimad Bhagavatam, please read it. One line, one page a day. It is so important. And our measure of whether I am successfully studying Srimad Bhagavatam is if my chanting of the holy names is improving. Because this is the foundation of our spiritual life. That is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions, comments, discussions?
Anytime can we read, or since it's Grandraj and it's book form of Krishna,
anytime you can read, but you should be in a clean state at least. You should be bathed. But anytime you can read. And we should not take Srimad Bhagavatam into the washroom and other places. We should keep it in a nice place. But you can read anytime.
When we travel, can we take or can we?
Yes.
There's a difference between reading in the gadgets and the book, but what is your recommendation for?
So there is a special potency of reading from the book form.
Yes.
So we should, as much as possible, read from the book form. But, like for example, when we are traveling, if it's not practical, I can have whole Srimad Bhagavatam on this. That is the use of technology. Technology is great. It is supremely great when it is applied constructively. So carrying Srimad Bhagavatam on your phone is a great invention of mankind. So yes, you can take, but as much as possible, reading from the book form, it invokes a stronger attachment and connection. See, our senses are very fickle. Why do we chant on Japamala? Why not just chant? Why do we chant on Japamala? Because when we chant, our mind goes hither and thither everywhere. But at least when I'm holding through the tactile sensations of the Vijay, some more concentration will be there. By holding Tulsi Maharani or Neem leaves, there's a spiritual potency that enthuses my chanting. Why do I chant out loud? Because when I chant out loud, I'm also engaging my ears. So my tongue, my ears, my sense of touch, maybe my sense of sight. And so in that way, it becomes more potent. So reading from books is great. But if you're traveling or not, yeah, reading from, as you said, gadgets is also okay. Spiritualize your gadgets.
Yeah.
You had a question?
Babaji, Srimati Radharani is so great. Is it because Krishna's love, or is there any pastime?
Is what?
Srimati Radharani, is she so great because of Krishna's love towards Radharani, or is there any avatar or pastime?
Yeah, so Srimati Radharani is Shakti Tattva. So it's an energy expansion of Krishna. So she is Krishna's Haladini Shakti. The pleasure potency, the pleasure that Krishna experiences and gives, that personified is Srimati Radharani. So we speak about this during Radhashtami. But we think of Radha and Krishna as boy and girl, but that is not right. Actually, Radha and Krishna are one manifested in two. It is Krishna and his internal pleasure potency. So, Srimati Radharani exists only for one purpose. What is her only purpose? To give Krishna happiness. To give Krishna happiness. And it's unconditional love. Meaning, if her unhappiness, it causes Krishna happiness, then that unhappiness for her is her happiness. Can I say that again? If her unhappiness gives Krishna happiness, then that unhappiness is good for her. Meaning, she only cares about Krishna's happiness. Now, we cannot match Srimati Radharani's perfection of devotion to Krishna. She is the perfection of it. But by surrendering to her and following in her footsteps, we can become enthused to try to follow in her footsteps. We cannot imitate. But she is of Shakti Tattva. So she is an energy expansion of Krishna, specifically his pleasure potency energy. That is Srimati Radharani. So we should not confuse with boy-girl relationships. That is the mundane lens how we see. It's not that. Any other questions or comments?
How much can we dedicate to like How much time did it take to finish up all this Bhagavatam?
How much time it takes to read?
No, right. How much time did Prabhupada
How long it took him to write?
finish up?
He wrote, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, almost 60 books. So the total time he started writing, I would say kind of seriously, in about 1960 is when he started. He was writing Back to Godhead magazines, and then he started his first canto. He completed first canto before leaving for US in 1965. And then from 1965 until 1977, that's when he really completed most of Srimad Bhagavatam, but also Chaitanya Charitamrita, also Bhagavad Gita, also Shri Upanishad, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, so many other books also in that time. So that's kind of about 20-year period, including all the other books. He was a prolific writer. Nobody could write at his pace. And if you read these purports, particularly this first canto purports, he was unsure whether he would ever finish Srimad Bhagavatam. So he wrote these purports with such completeness that if you just read first canto, you actually get the whole essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. They are exquisitely composed purports. I mean, all of Prabhupada's purports are amazing, but the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam purports are out of this world. They're really, really amazingly done. He wrote most of them while staying in Radha Damodar temple at the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, and thus was enthused with great potency to write. But don't take 20 years to read it. If it took 20 years to write, it should take us 2 years to read. Deal? Deal?
I think every day one sloka is to read somewhere. It will take 19 years or something.
So there's a website called Be a Sage Page by Page, and it'll tell you if you read one shloka, 1 page, 10 pages, how long it'll take you to finish Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, or you can do the other way. Okay, you put in, I want to finish in 3 years, and it'll tell you how many pages per day you have to read, like that. So it's actually a great way to read. You give yourself a weekly quota. If your quota is 1 page, okay, by each week I should read 7 pages. Because maybe one day you might miss, right? So the next day you read 2 pages. But by the end of the week, by Sunday, I should be at 7. Or if my quota is 10, 20, 30, 40, something like that, you just get the habit, you'll be shocked. You can finish Srimad Bhagavatam in less than 1 year. Very practically. Very easily. And again, if you desire, who's going to reciprocate? And whatever desire we have, Krishna desires many, many million times more. But we have to have some desire so he can double it, triple it. Anybody who would like to take Srimad Bhagavatam home who does not have Srimad Bhagavatam? Anybody has that desire? Okay. So if you don't have the desire to desire. How about that? At least that's step 1. I want the desire to desire. Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. You want to do Dhamma?